MyChapter is a new product that we have created for NextChapter. It integrates fully with NextChapter. And what it is a online intake tool for your clients to enter their information. And then you get notified once they've entered their information to review, make any updates necessary. And then the best part, you can import everything directly into NextChapter. So this is a huge time saver, can help you save a lot of time on your data entry when you're intaking the case. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to walk through a couple different parts of MyChapter and how to use it. But the great thing about it is that it is very user-friendly, and we spend a lot of time to make sure that it is, so that it's a useful tool for you and your client. I am in my test account within NextChapter. So I'll first start off going over getting MyChapter set up for your account. You can do so from your settings, and you can go to the add-on section here. And if you haven't been in here in a while, I would recommend taking a look. We have a lot of new features and product add-ons that you can do within this section. So you can go through and see if there's anything else that you may not be utilizing with the NextChapter that we have available here, such as a Chapter 13 package. We have a concierge service, and we also do a shell case import. But this is also where you can purchase the Debtor Portal. It's as simple as clicking purchase. We'll charge your card that you have on file. It is $500 per year per firm, and we give you the renewal date right here as well. So on my account, I've already got this purchased. So I'm going to go ahead and go into a case here. Once you've created the case, that's when you can send your client to MyChapter. From the case dashboard, you can scroll down to the Debtor Portal. And it's as simple as typing in their email address, and then that's going to send an invite. So once you've sent the invite, I'll go to a different case here where I've already sent it, you'll be able to see right in this section it says you've already invited this debtor to the Debtor Portal. I can also go up to my main Debtor Portal tab right here, and I can see all of the invites that have been sent. And I can see that it's in progress. I can go through and see if the client has submitted their information to me yet, and if I've imported it. So once you have a lot of cases in here, this is a nice way to keep track of all of your pending Debtor Portal submissions to see where they're at. If I sent this to Scooby-Doo and it's been a few days and he's saying he didn't get my email, I can actually go right here and resend. So it'll show me the email address that it was originally sent to, and then I can also just resend it as well. From the client's perspective, once you send the email, they are going to get an email that looks like this. It's going to say your law firm name and that they invite you to MyChapter. And then there's going to be a link here. What that's going to open is their case right here in MyChapter. So MyChapter, we have laid out pretty similar to NextChapter. We will guide your client through these sections on the side. They can either go from top to bottom, just like you can in NextChapter, or you can go through and click on these arrows as well. So either going this way or that way, they can add in their information. So when they first come in, they're going to start with a welcome message and your contact information, and then your logo. All of this information is what you would actually want to save. I'm going to go back into NextChapter real quick to show you where that's at. So from your settings, after you've purchased MyChapter, you can go to Debtor Portal. And this is where we kind of have just a generic welcome message in here. You can customize this to whatever you'd like. So if you have any specific instructions that you'd like your client to have, you can save that directly in here. If you want them to give you a call after they've submitted it, if they have any next steps that they need to do, you have the customization to put that directly in here. The other thing too is your contact information. We've white labeled MyChapter, so it's going to kind of look like it's coming from your firm instead of from NextChapter. And then we give this option here so that they can give you a call if they had any questions about what kind of information you would want them to save in here. If they have any clarification questions, they could, see that information while they're in MyChapter. And then here, I've got the MyChapter logo uploaded. You can choose your own file and remove it. And then that's going to be your firm's logo to have saved in there as well. So I'm going to go back into MyChapter. So again, here's all that information in the welcome screen. So I'm now looking from the client's perspective, and I can click on the arrow here. That's going to take me into the client profile. So within this section, it's very similar again to what we have in NextChapter. They can go through, we give a lot of guidance to show when we ask for the date of birth, we kind of show, okay, in what format do you want to see that? So they can enter that information there and click save once they've entered it all. And now they can click the arrow to go to the next section. So addresses, and then we add a little information here. So any address you've had in the last 3 years, they can go through, save all that information in this section and save as well. A lot of the sections are very simple, so trying not to overwhelm the client, keeping everything very clear and conversational. And here they can add any dependents that they have, so the relationship, age, and just finding out if they live with them. Any real property that they have. We ask for the address of that property, if they know the type of property here. And then they can actually add in any mortgage payment they have as well. So when I clicked add mortgage, now I have the information to add in the mortgage information, the creditor and their address if they know it. If they don't, it's okay. They can put as much as they have in here. It's not going to require that information. But if they know the balance, so if they have a statement, they can see their monthly payment, any of this information that they have, if they do have it, they can save it in here. And again, that's going to save you some time. Going to the next section, we have the vehicles here. So the same thing, they can add in all their vehicles, year, make, and model, mileage and condition, and the estimated value. If they have a lien on the vehicle, they can click to add in a monthly payment. So this is very similar again to how NextChapter is laid out. So they can save this in here as much information that they have. I cancel out of this since I didn't save anything. You can do the same thing with any vehicles that they have leased. Personal items, they can go through here and say, I want to add in all my household goods. They can go in here, we ask them to list them all out. So if I was going to put a couch and a table in here, and I'm estimating this to be at $400, I can save that. And then I can go and add in my next topic. So if I want to save all my electronics and kind of go down the line that way. So same with any bank accounts, checking accounts, anything that they may have, they can go through and add in as many as they need to. I'm going to hop down to creditors. If they do have, if they had done a free credit report, if they have an idea of some of their creditor information, they can save all that directly in here. We ask for the creditors, name and address, balance and monthly payment. And then we also ask here for the type of debt. So if it was for a student loan, they've got medical services, they can select those, and then all that's going to import into NextChapter. And I'm going to use an example here. One of the feedback that we received from attorneys who've used similar services, such as MyChapter, one of the negative feedback that we got from the other products out there was the problem with reviewing the information and kind of doubling their work if their client had entered everything in all caps, or if they didn't use any capitalization. Then the attorney or the paralegal would pretty much find their time going through and retyping everything. So if I had my caps lock on and I typed in the bank name here and all their information, if as the attorney, if I don't want this to be that way, I will show once this goes to the attorney view how we have a quick review tool that will let you switch all that. So I'm going to save this one in there. And so again, they can add in as many creditors as they need to. They'll all be listed in this section here. In the income section, we allow them to add in a current job that they have or an other source of income. For this, we are basically just collecting their company information, how often they're paid, and then the address. The reason for that is we don't have the ability at this time to include the income. That's something we'll probably be adding more in a version 2 of this product, with the option to decide if you want your client to enter that or not. We have some attorneys where their clients are very sophisticated and they want to have them enter in all of their pay advices. And other ones, their pay might be complicated and it might be better if they, don't enter that in on this part. So we're going to have the ability for you to kind of decide if this is in here or not. But in the meantime, we do have this information so we can get some of the basic information about their income, and it'll still import into NextChapter. In the expenses, we have them broken down by category, same format that we do in NextChapter. This is a huge time saver. So if your client can go through and say how much that they spend monthly. So we do have information up here to clarify that we want them to enter in the monthly amount. So they can go through and add in all of their housing expenses, personal expenses, any medical. We do have down below a section for separate expenses for the spouse. And this is just in those occasions where they have a separate household, and we're going to show this information on Schedule J2. So we do put a note in here to only add this income if they do live in a separate household. So most of the time they would just add everything in the first part. So once they save that in here, the last section here is the documents. So we give a preset suggested list of documents for your client to enter. So they can add in those documents by choosing the file and uploading directly in here. They can upload a PDF, a text document, and a Word document. So in whatever format they have, it can be saved in here. And they can save multiple documents at once. So when they save these in here and then import to NextChapter, these will all be made available within the client document storage of that case. So once they get here, they can still go back to any section and make, if they didn't have all of their mortgage information, they want to come back, they can edit that information and save that in. I'm going to do a fake address here. They can add in additional information just so long as they haven't submitted to the attorney for review. In this first round, we have it just going one way, one time to you for review. So once I have that in here, down here, the orange submit to attorney, that's going to be the point where they're not able to add in any additional information or they're not able to upload any more documents. So you always just kind of want to make sure your clients know that they can come back and add more information, but they need to wait to push this button until then. So once they are ready, if I've entered in everything I have, I'm going to hit submit to attorney. And now this actually, I get a message down here, success, you have submitted your information to the attorney. So now the information's there. And if I go back through, everything becomes read-only once I've submitted it. So for that same reason I just said, we're not allowing them to change or add more information, it's just that one time. We are looking towards a second version with an update of allowing a little bit more back and forth, but right now we wanted it to just be the initial intake. So now I'm going to go back into the NextChapter. And a couple different ways you can find out that information's been submitted. So again, I can go to the Debtor Portal section here. Now there's some more information for that Scooby-Doo. So I can see when they were invited, and I can see now that it has been submitted. And then the attorney will also receive an email once it's been submitted so that they can go in, just kind of as a quick notification to let you know that it is ready to review. If I go into the case as well, I'll be able to see that same status. So if the attorney or the paralegal is in the case, they come to the Debtor Portal, they can see that this message down here is updated with this new status to say that the Debtor Portal for this case is ready to be reviewed. So I'm going to go ahead and review this by clicking on View. Okay, so now I'm in, this is MyChapter, but from the attorney view. So the client submitted their information, and now I'm reviewing as the attorney prior to importing this into NextChapter. So the first section, this is a different section than what obviously your clients will see as a review tools. Right now, that review option is to fix the letter capitalization. So we will be adding a few more items in here, again, on the next version, one of which is going to be the option to spell check the whole section here. But what I would recommend, a lot of browsers do automatically do the spell check for you in any text fields. So if you're using Google Chrome or most of them, Mozilla, they do have add-ons for spell check, so that can help you with that in the meantime. So for example, if I go to, let's see, I think I had a creditor in here. So my creditor's in all caps. I can see that that's how the client entered it in, but I don't want it imported in that way, and I don't want to have to retype it. So I go to the review tools and I fix the letter capitalization. Just got a message that it successfully did that for me. Go to the creditors. And now that's updated. So I didn't have to go through and retype all of this information to get it in proper caps. It just did it for me. So if you had 30, 40 creditors entered in here, that would be a huge time saver. Anything I change as the attorney or paralegal in here, so if they forgot to enter the last 4 of their social, but I know it, I can go ahead and save it in here. Or if I notice that, they had something misspelled or in the wrong spot, you can change that. This hasn't been imported into NextChapter yet, so I can go through and save anything additional, make any tiny tweaks in this section here, and then when I'm ready, I can go and click import into NextChapter here at the bottom. So that gives me this screen. By clicking on the import button below, you'll start the import process into NextChapter. So I'm going to import this. So now I have the date showing that it was imported today on the 15th. Another thing that's important too is if you had added any information, let's say I added the last 4 of the social already, and then I sent the client to MyChapter and they completed their information, the information that you import here is going to override what you already have in NextChapter. So we would recommend just kind of, if you don't want to have to, put information that might be written over, I would just wait and do MyChapter first and then go into the case and make any updates. So I'm going to go back into the case now. And if I refresh here, in my status for, again, I'm here in this Debtor Portal at the top next to my settings. Now this is updated to show the status as imported and the dates changed as well. So I'm going to hop into my test case. So now if I go, let's see, we know I added in a creditor here. There's my creditor, it imported with that information. There's the address saved in here. So now all this information, marked as credit card debt, all of that pulled in here for me with the balance. Any documents that would have been uploaded will be here in additional documents under client document storage. So those will be saved in there as well. So that's kind of the quick run through, kind of beginning to end of getting set up, saving your settings, and then the client's view, and then the attorney review section. We also have in our Help Center a section designated for MyChapter that does kind of walk you through setup and your settings, and then also just inviting the client, resending if necessary. And then I believe you should be able to see in here in the webinar today, there is a guide that we have saved, and it kind of walks through everything we went over today. So if you need a refresher on anything, there is a guide you should be able to download from your webinar screen, and then we'll also follow up. I'll send that via email as well. But yeah, please let me know if you have any other questions, and we would be happy to help. Thank you, and I hope you all have a good weekend.